In 2021, Megadeth made the controversial decision to part ways with their longtime bassist Dave Ellefson after an explicit video of him leaked online that was recorded without his knowledge. Now, in a new interview, Ellefson says that personal grudges from Dave Mustaine were the real reason he was let go by the band. If you're new to Rockfeed, do us a favor and hit that subscribe button with notifications on for the latest news and updates. And there is still time to enter to win 4 VIP weekend passes for one lucky winner to one of these festivals of your choosing. Partying in style at VIP, it's a next level experience. You could go see Limp Bizkit at Incarceration. Need I say more? Don't miss your opportunity. Enter to win at the link in the description. Ellefson spoke on being let go from Megadeth in a new interview with the Metal Circus. He was asked about whether or not it irks him having a lot of his new original material being compared to his work with Megadeth, to which he said, "I'm always going to be known for my work in Megadeth, but me not being in Megadeth is not my choice. I think that people are appreciative that I'm continuing to make music, at least from what I've seen. It's not like I left the band and said, fuck you, I'm out. Because if I did that and then I was out trying to start new bands, people would be like, fuck you, Ellefson. You left our favorite band. Fuck you. We don't care. People know that was not my decision. It's not the way I would have handled it at all. Clearly, I'm not mad about the past. I'm not disrespectful. I didn't just close the door on Megadeth and say fuck you and move on to something else. I didn't do that at all. I will always be an ambassador for that group and for those songs and for that music because I'm a part of that. So I think that's the difference. I think being very respectful toward it, and despite how my dismissal was handled, I think I've gone above and beyond being respectful. I can assure you many others would not have, but I did. At the same time, there's new music, there's a forward path, and I'm not just gonna live in the past, my glory days of the past. Look, I can just quit and not do any more music. To be honest with you, I could. And there are some days I think about that and go, yeah, fuck all this shit. Maybe I should just stop and fucking get rid of all my guitars and just call it a day. I mean, there really are days I think about that. But then I turn around and go, I'm gonna grab an instrument and start playing. So it's that natural instinct to want to play. This is why there is another Dave Ellefson band. It's because I'm passionate about it and I'm honest and I'm genuine about it. I'm not forcing something. I'm certainly not gonna do it for the money. All these bands fucking cost me money. I put my own money back into these things. Ellefson was subsequently asked if he was a victim of unnecessary criminalization in his dismissal from the band. He said 100%, fucking 100% I was. Everything about that was just not okay. But you can spend your life trying to get justice, trying to go down that road, and it's kind of like always just follows you. I had some good advisors around me, and at some point it's like, look, it is what it is. What happened, happened. Just move on. Life is lived forward, not backward. Own your shit and move on, which is what I did. The night the video put out of me that I knew nothing about, and there it was. And all of a sudden, like, hey, own your shit. All right, whatever. That happened. Move on. And don't sit there and try to go back and do some spin control or call the publicists, because that's what some people wanted to do. And I was like, fuck that. It is what it is. Just fucking own it and move on. And I'd like to think there's more integrity in just own your shit and move on. Let that situation help you get better rather than just sit around and hate on everyone. Asked about whether he looks back on what happened and thinks what he did was bad, he said, first of all, I'm entitled to a personal life and I didn't do anything to anyone, period. And that's just the bottom line. And some people set out to really hurt me. And I don't want to keep digging this up because now we're doing the very thing I'm talking, which is not digging it up. We've moved on from it. It is what it is. It was what it was. And I certainly set out to prove that it wasn't. And that's the path I took. I think the bigger picture here, because I think right away, look, I came forward and said it is what it is. Sorry, it's embarrassing. But the fact I was discounted from my band was clearly, I think people can see, because the announcement was personally signed by Dave Mustaine, there was other resentments and other things behind that. And I think that's what became clear. And again, I did my best to try to mend that fence and to fix that, but he didn't want to know about it. So it is what it is. I have not spent the last 2 years walking around going, fuck you and ta-da-da. If anything, hey, I wish you well. Get on with your life. If that's what it is, then it's better to go our separate ways. He was asked if he's happier now than he was before. He said, very much. And in fact, outside of you and me talking about this, I don't even think about Megadeth anymore. I really don't. I don't really think about it. The whole thing to me is dead to me, to be honest with you. I wasn't unhappy before. I knew what I was walking back into when I came back to Megadeth. I knew what I was walking back into in 2010, which is why I agreed to only go back for the month and do the Rust in Peace anniversary tour. and essentially saved the day because they didn't have a bass player. And they were about ready to go play the Rust in Peace album, and then Sean Drover, who recently was under some pretty shitty attack from a certain person we know, he did the right thing, bringing me to Megadeth. It was the right move for the band, for the legacy, for the fans, for the Big Four, for everything around it. Sean is a hero to Megadeth, and he brought me back. I agreed to do it for a month. It went well, so we agreed to do South America. It went well, we agreed to carry on, and we kind of took it one tour at a time, and that carried on for another 11 years. So as much as there's some recent scrutiny about I should have never been brought back, well, apparently I should have been, and apparently I should have never been out of there in the first place. And the 2 times that I've not been there were not of my doing. The first exit was over the change of financial splits, and then the second time was clearly of something much bigger. Personal grudges and resentments towards me. But that notwithstanding, I knew what I was getting back into, and we had a lot of good times. There was a lot of fun in the 11 years that I came back. Not so much in the recent years. The last couple of years were pretty shitty and pretty difficult, especially trying to make that record. It was very clear I was not invited into it. I was not welcome. Clearly, Dave did not want me to be a part of that story, of that album, and I knew it. So again, I'm a big boy. I get it. I see it. So that's why when I was dismissed, it was kind of like, well, all right, move on from that. That's why I'm not bitter about this. Now, it didn't end the way I thought it would, but oh well, Megadeth's over again. Well, now what? So move on. So I'd already been down this road before. I think for me, I always knew when I came back to the group that don't look for your happiness here. Enjoy it, be thankful for it. It's going to end. You don't know when or how, but it will end one day, and it did. So when it happened, I was able to just kind of move on from it and get away from, again, shitty people that did shitty things to me, to just kind of close all that down and move on. So I think now there's a lot more joy in my life. I make music I like with people I like. I'm excited about it. Mustaine announced the decision to part ways with Ellefson in a statement on May 24, 2021. It said, "We do not take this decision lightly. While we do not know every detail of what occurred, with an already strained relationship, what has already been revealed now is enough to make working together impossible moving forward." Ellefson, of course, is a very important figure in Megadeth's history, being a member of the band from 1983 until 2002, and then from 2010 until 2021. He's got new projects out now, one called Deeth and the other one called Kings of Thrash. You can check him out on his website I've linked to in the description. That's your latest update from Rockfeed. Join the conversation over on Instagram, and don't forget to subscribe with notifications on.